Hackers have caused a lot of mistrust in the Warzone community, and it is only getting worse. So I thought I'm going to sit down and take a dive into what can be done to make this better. Enjoy. Now, obviously, through creating content and posting clips, I get accused of hacking now and again. People say that's sus, and I didn't realise that the sort of lack of trust was as bad until I posted this clip.
Where we landed. Like, where our layout is. They're holding there.
Now, my man Edits435 said I was using wall hacks at the start of this clip, so let's have a look, okay? So I'm bumming in there, and I'm going to say, yep. Also, RIP the HRM, this was beautiful at the time. Bit of movement there, you know, we're dabbling, you know, we're moving, and then we're getting some kills, it's not too bad. So anyway, Edits reckons that we had wall hacks at the start, so I said to Edits, here is the VOD, you know, go check it out. There is no wall hacks, this is how it is, because you know what, all my VODs stay up, and if you want to check out the VODs, head over to twitch.tv/Captain Gulag TTV. They're all on there, you will see some horrendous gameplay. Anyway, then Edit says, no, I mean the red square on the wall at the start. So we move back, and Edit means this red square just next to my face cam. Now, red square is part of the map design. That is the level of trust that there is right now in the Call of Duty community. And just so there is no sort of, you know, oh, actually, we have got wall hacks. This is the same part of the map from a totally different game. There's the same red box, slap bang in the centre. That's the level we're at when it comes to finding out that people are trying to hack in Call of Duty. We're now blaming map design. It's genuinely insane. Now, I was going to make this video a few weeks ago and I got sidetracked with it. However, it seems ever more prominent now, given that we've had the last chance qualifiers for the World Series of Warzone this week. And in the North American last chance qualifier, there was a team of 3 people. 2 of them were hacking. They finished 5th, so they didn't qualify for LAN overall. However, they choked a lot of players' games in that tournament, and it didn't actually come out until after the tournament that they were hacking. You know, they both admitted the screenshots going around. One of them actually even put a tweet saying, yeah, I was hacking, after building themselves up for saying, yeah, you know, look how good I am at the game. I finished 5th, you know, put some respect on my name. All that kind of thing. Only to then maybe an hour or so later go, yeah, you know what? I actually had walls and a soft aimbot, which is insane. However, it's things like this that build further distrust with amongst the Call of Duty community, purely because the World Series of Warzone is an Activision-ran tournament. Activision put their own money towards it. They get sponsorships, put money towards it. Organisations are, you know, put players forward to play in it, and you know, they sponsor these players. And it's just embarrassing across the board, and something needs to give. Now, obviously, Call of Duty has an anti-cheat system. We don't have hackers anywhere near as bad as what we have in Verdansk. You know, we've got people, you know, sort of rage hacking with an iron sight Kar 98 out of the sky, getting 70-odd kills. We don't have that in Warzone anymore, thankfully. However, there is an epidemic, I think, of people who are secretly warning and secretly using soft aim bots, which is a bit of a problem, because I don't think that Ricochet can really detect them all that well. So Call of Duty's anti-cheat, or Ricochet, basically works on the fact of that when you're in a lobby, it doesn't detect. It's only when you're playing the game is the anti-cheat actually pretty much switched on and detecting what you're doing. And if you're not going above a certain level of kills or doing certain sort of like unnatural flicks or unnatural things in the game, I don't think it actually is that good at picking up cheats, to be honest. And also, you've got to bear in mind the fact that the anti-cheat needs to be constantly updated as the cheats get constantly updated. But because it's only ever on in a game, cheat developers can put, you know, the cheats onto a PC, they can sort of, you know, break down the code, they can look at it a lot easier than if anti-cheat was on all the time. However, that does also present some problems. Now, these problems have been voiced by the Valorant community. I've never played Valorant in my life. However, I know that the Valorant anti-cheat is called Vanguard, and we are very, very confused now. And basically, for you to be able to play Valorant, Vanguard has to run at all times on your PC, but it runs on a kernel level, which means that, you know, when you maybe go on a PC and give something like run as an administrator or something like that, on a kernel level basically means that it acts as a driver for the PC, which has more sort of permissions than you do just as a system administrator for the PC. And basically it means that if you've got any sort of cheats on your PC, this Vanguard system will detect them, and basically you can't even get to the menu screen of Valorant. That's the level it runs at. However, you got to think, is there a level of, alright, that's smart, because obviously if you're not doing anything dodgy on your PC, then you'd probably happily have this on your PC. However, at what point does that just become sort of spyware and sort of malware on your PC that's constantly monitoring what you're doing, constantly monitoring what's coming onto the PC and feeding it back to some sort of system that says, no, you can't access this application because of that? I get there's privacy issues there, and there needs to be some sort of balance between Ricochet and how that really just doesn't care, and Vanguard, which maybe goes a little bit too far. So when will Activision actually, sort of look at combating cheaters in Warzone and Call of Duty as a whole? Well, obviously there was a massive cheating problem in Verdansk, and Vikkstar from the Sidemen quit Warzone, and it didn't even made the bloody news. There was that much level of cheating going on in the game, and Activision didn't really do an awful lot about it then, other than introduce Ricochet and kind of somewhat update and develop that. However, I think we can all agree it probably doesn't go far enough. So the only time that this will actually change is if it starts to hit Activision's bottom line, in particular, obviously their wallet and their money, and when sort of organisations and sponsors go, you know what, I'm pulling my sponsorship from that, or, you know what, I want to take you to court because of this. And I think we might possibly could start to see the start of this sort of motion happening. So this is a tweet from Jay Browning, who is a Warzone team manager at Fnatic. Basically, Fnatic were one of the teams that were griefed by the cheaters in the last chance qualifiers for the NA World Series of Warzone. Ben, Eddie, and Skull, as Fnatic players, have the Org's full support. We are taking the situation very seriously, not only because our trio is affected, but because every honest player in that lobby deserves to play under fair circumstances. A formal complaint has been lodged. So obviously that is just a formal complaint. I imagine that has been lodged to Activision, given the fact that they are sort of the, caretakers, I suppose, of the World Series of Warzone tournament. But what happens, though, if someone has cheated their way to LAN, and then just somehow gets very, very lucky and literally wins 100k in a solo YOLO, and then it comes out afterwards that they were cheated their way to get there. Obviously, you couldn't cheat at LAN, but cheated the way to get there, took 100 grand home, second place obviously leaves with nothing. What happens then? Because the second place is left with nothing, and first place, who might have cheated to get there, might have left with life-changing money. And all of a sudden, you're going to get lawsuit after lawsuit being filed against Activision because people are starting to lose income because of this. And when you start losing income and you mess with people's wages, that's when things get ugly. And I think that is when we will see Activision finally take the cheating seriously in Warzone. Until then, I think Activision will constantly say, Ricochet works, it does this, it's done that, we've done a ban wave. But until actually someone really takes legal action against Activision, saying, no, you are actually hurting sort of my income with this, I don't think we'll actually see any change at all. If Activision won't improve the anti-cheat, then there needs to be some sort of measures put in place for sort of these big tournaments where every player undergoes a PC check before they start playing the tourney, and there needs to be a lot more transparency. Or maybe you say, you know what, next year's World Series, once you do the open qualifiers, the rest of the qualifiers are all on LAN, and we'll host maybe 2 or 3 minor LAN events in respective countries, and we'll fly people in and they can play there and they'll compete at LAN, and then they'll compete in a massive grand final at LAN. That is the only way to iron out sort of these trust issues within the Call of Duty community. In terms of streamers and posting clips and going forward, until there is a fully functioning anti-cheat, that sort of distrust will always be there. There'll always be people jumping on clips saying, that's suspicious, blah, blah, blah. It is what it is. But for now, I think, there's a massive problem within Call of Duty community of distrusting the game, distrusting streamers, distrusting how many cheaters are on in the game. And that needs to be something that needs to be worked out very quickly.